Alright, so you want to learn how to play one of DBD's most powerful killers, Dracula. You know, the only killer in recent times that had an actually decent launch. Jason. Well, in just 20 minutes, I can teach you how to play Dracula, and how to play Dracula well, more importantly. So just follow along, listen to my tips, and, maybe actually, watch the video. I see you watching this on your second monitor while you're playing DBD. I see you. I know that's what you're doing. Just put it into focus, okay? Alright. Let's get started. Alright, so starting off with Dracula and his movement abilities. So you've got 3 forms, right? Pretty much everyone's gonna know that. You have this form, which can launch Hellfire. More on that. You can pounce using your wolf form, and you can collect scent orbs, which will give you about 5% haste. And you have bat form, where you move at, I believe, a bit above 6 meters a second, right? So this is your mobility form. You can also use this to teleport, to drop pellets and windows. Incredibly useful. But in this form, you can only see scratch marks and hear survivors. You can't see them. Comparable to Spirit or Jason. So if we go into wolf form quickly, you can see that you have the scratch marks here, and you have these scent orbs. So those are giving me a speed boost. So this is Hellfire, right? The key aspects of Hellfire are that it can go in between gaps and above objects. Probably about above a gen is your height limit for it. So as you can see, if we try and do it on these hay bales, it's gonna get blocked by them. But if we go into this corner here, that goes through. The general rule for this is if you can see clearly through it, you're going to be able to attack through it. As you can see there, even though this is about the same height as the hay bales, I can see clearly through this, and so with line of sight, I can attack. In terms of add-ons that you're going to want to be using, the strongest ones are going to be Lapis Lazuli, which blocks window vaults after you teleport to them in bat form for 8 seconds. So that can be used to shut down loops really easily. And then Warg's Fang, which can probably best be compared to Barbecue and Chili, in that once you collect a scent orb while you're in cooldown in your wolf form, you can do this for every survivor. So you need to collect that scent orbs once while you're still in cooldown for wolf form. When your cooldown ends for wolf form, every time it ends and you get wolf form back again, you'll see that auras for 5 seconds. That's map wide. It's incredibly powerful. You can get a ton of utility out of it. The perks you're going to want to be using are See How They Run, one of the strongest perks for Dracula in my experience. Turn Back the Clock, which is a Vecna perk. After hooking a survivor for the next 60 seconds, you can click E on Generator to make it explode. Because you can do this in bat form, it just has insane utility on Dracula. You can just regress a gen without having to end chase and without having to rely on a hex perk like Ruin. Corrupt Intervention. It's not for everyone, but in my experience, it's a really strong perk for giving Dracula that head start. And then Hex Blood Favor, I think, is really strong on just about any killer. Once again, it's not necessary on Dracula, especially because, he has such good anti-loop with his Hellfire, but I find it just helps out with so many killers, and because it's so necessary for survivors to cleanse it, it gives you some nice slowdown. If for whatever reason you don't have those perks, maybe you haven't unlocked the killers yet, or you haven't prestiged them, some really great alternative perks are obviously See How They Run, which is in the main build, as I've said. 5% haste for each token every time you stop chasing the obsession. That's a general perk. No holds barred, useful on every killer, but especially useful on Dracula to give you some slowdown. And Hex Fortune's Fool or Hex Plaything.
Your hate, your vengeance.
Alright, so we're gonna see here, we're gonna have our Corrupt Intervention, blocking most of gens, and we just want to instantly go into bat form so that we can get some nice generator reading, right? So now we're in here, we're just gonna go instantly into wolf form, right? We're gonna miss that, so that's gonna be annoying, but... Right, and we're gonna do that because hopefully that can let us chase them. Now sometimes you just need to engage in linear chases. Obviously you can always get fooled by that. You know, that's just every killer you can. Right, so we can use our bat form. Really get here. And we can get that hit back. Now an important thing to do is when you have survivors like that, you can Hellfire, and you can hit multiple survivors through Hellfire. It does penetrate survivors. So they decided to do a nice open space here. And they're just going to run straight into the Hellfire. So straight to hook. Now really we could tunnel, and that would give us a benefit, but you know, it also might not be worth it. So we have them over here. Now, I forgot to cover, but that special break is incredibly important. As you can see there, by doing that on the window, we got a really good hit. Now that's still the obsession. We're gonna miss that there, but we can just loop back around it. That one's a blunder, right? I shouldn't have gotten too close. Don't hold down your Hellfire for too long, obviously, because you do move at 3.8 meters a second when you have Hellfire, which I believe is about 80% of the survivor speed. So you're actually slower than the survivors while holding down Hellfire. Really important to know. Right, so we can use that block there. Basically force them to do that. They can't do that little infinite loop anymore. Which is awesome for us. And we can just go straight for that. They're going to pop another gen, but at this point in the game, it doesn't really matter. We have one of them on death hook already. We're about to hook them. Right, so they're cleansing a dull totem. Obviously, it's meaningless. Now, an important thing to cover is that your Hellfire can actually go up vertically to an extent. So over where those hay bales are, we would have been, if we needed to, able to stop the ram. We're just gonna have a look over here, make sure there's no one there. So we're just gonna go for the hit there. And get that hit there. That's where the little wolf pounds can be incredibly useful. So a very key part of this is just to always pay attention. It sounds obvious, but a lot of people aren't going to. Right, they can dodge that. The pill-shaped hitbox means we can get that hit there really easily. And we can just put them straight onto hook. No, there's one from there because our ability has refilled. Or they have object of possession. It could be either. We have our little castle up there. We can use that little scream to help navigate and find them. So don't doubt how powerful the screams can be. Turn Back the Clock really is an S tier perk. Now, the hitboxes can be a bit weird. I'm not gonna lie. There are some of them that don't really make sense. You know, it's DBD, so unfortunately Hellfire isn't the most consistent ability. Just might not be able to get value out of it constantly. Right, so we can roll it down to these remaining generators. From that, we can assume that they're going to go for the save. Or they could be in here. Hiding in this little crevice. Right, so sometimes the hitboxes are going to be a bit weird. And sometimes your pounce isn't going to work like you'd think it would. That's just part of playing Drac, unfortunately. I would have hoped that we could get that hit there. We can't. That's so good. Don't be afraid to, don't be afraid to break. Don't be afraid to break breakable walls. They exist to be broken. And once again, get that nice 5% haste. Incredibly useful. And we can do that, right?